We're here this afternoon with Constable Dean Dickson, and you are running for re-election for Precinct 2, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to get started with the questions. We're delighted you're here. Lyle-Ann, will you get us started?
Thank you. Do you currently hold the qualifications of constable, and to what extent do you have experience in the law enforcement field?
Well, I started out when I was 18 years old. When I graduated from Wall High School, I put in my application for the San Angelo Police Department. Went through the process, and I got the letter from Travis Johnson saying that I'd been accepted, and it was a happy time. And when I say it's a happy time, it's because I'm third generation law enforcement in my family. My dad, he was in law enforcement for 45 years. My granddad, he was a police officer in Colorado City. And his brother was a DPS trooper who was killed in the line of duty. And so law enforcement's always been in my family, and that I always knew what I was going to do. I went to work for the San Angelo Police Department. I started out on nights. I worked nights for, I think, 10 years. And then I had the opportunity to transfer to Criminal Investigation Division. There I worked 2 years, and I worked everything from homicides to juvenile. We did it all. And from there, I had the opportunity. I went through motorcycle and certification school, and I had the opportunity to go to the motor division, and that's where I spent the rest of my career, was in the traffic division. I worked accidents. We worked a lot of accidents, and of course we wrote citations. That wasn't the favorite part of my job, but still, I mean, it was something that had to be done. Sometimes people just wouldn't learn. And but anyway, the last 3 years in the traffic division, I was appointed to the hit and run division. And there in the hit and run division, I worked all the hit and run accidents. And I had a couple of high profile hit and runs that I'm proud to say that I was able to solve. And then from there, Dick Brock, who was the current constable at the time, he had accepted a position in Austin. And so I was approached and asked if I would consider the position of constable. Well, by then I'd been 22 years on the police department, and I was kind of looking for something new to do. And so me and my family got together, we talked about it, we prayed about it, and we decided we'd go ahead and do it. So I turned in my application, and I got appointed and run for the 2-year unexpired term. And I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm a licensed certified peace officer in the state of Texas. I'm a master peace officer. I've met all the requirements there. I got over 2,600 hours in training in that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Your duties as constable are fairly well defined and limited. What do you see as being the most important part of your duty as a constable?
Really, all aspects of being a constable and the papers that we do, they deal with a lot of different things. We've got a lot of writs that we work, like a writ of execution. That's where judgment has already been made, and I've been given a court order to go out and get the money. I'll go out and ask for the money. If they don't have it, then I'll try to see if I can find property to seize and levy on, and then we'll try to auction it off. A lot of cases, people just don't have the money, and in that case, then we just have to nolo bono it, and that basically says that there's no goods available to do that. And when you do that, it keeps the writ active in case something else comes along further down the road. We do child protector services, the AG papers. I do the subpoenas and papers for the JP court. A big percentage of what we do is the evictions. That's where, you know, a tenant has done a violation of their lease or have not paid or anything, and we'll get a court order to have to go move these folks out. you have to be careful with this because a lot of times people don't want to move and they're angry and they're mad. And I pride myself in the fact that I can go out and try to keep it all civil between the tenant and the landlord. And in the past, I think we've done real good. We've had to upgrade ourselves a little bit. Used to go by myself, but now we're having to go in as a team because we're running into more things. We had a guy pull a gun on us, and we're having to deal with drug stuff, and it's just the dangers are there all the time, and so we gotta be careful with that.
Well, this is kind of pick up with what you were just speaking, and it says, what is the most dangerous part of a constable's job, and are you prepared to handle it?
Well, when you're in law enforcement, any and all, when you got a badge and you got a gun, you're the authority, you know, you're always got to keep your guard up. And I mean, any situation can turn dangerous at any second. Like I told him, the most dangerous I think that we're having to deal with now is the evictions. But we also get papers where we have to go pick up children from families. And that's not a good situation either. And so, you know, just being out there and involved, I mean, the situation can turn at any time. And so you always got to be prepared.
Thank you.
What would you like people to know about the constable's job that you think that, that you don't think that they know now?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of times when we visit with people, especially those that are from out of state and stuff that we see, they don't know what a constable does. And I don't mind telling them what I do. And basically I tell them that we're officers of the court and that we do the civil process for the courts and not just what I explained to them is the eviction process and stuff. And after that, they come with a better understanding. Since I've learned a lot on the civil side, there's a lot that I wish when I was a police officer that I knew, because I would have been able to handle the situations a whole lot different. And we're working on that by trying to teach the new police officers that are coming through the academy. We're trying to teach them that what we do in civil process and stuff. And I think it's helping because we've got a good working relationship with the police and the sheriff's office and stuff. And we get calls all the time from them, wanting to know, hey, what do we do or how do we deal with this situation? And a lot of times I'll go and try to tell them what state law is and try to help them through that and tell them what the process is.
Constable Dickson, why, in just a few words, why do you feel like the voters should continue you in this capacity?
I feel like that 32 years I've spent serving the citizens of Tom Green and San Angelo. It's something that I love to do. It's something I guess I inherited from my father. I like to be the one that goes out and helps. I try to do it in a civil way. A lot of times in law enforcement, you can't be civil. You have to be firm, and when the situation gets a little bit over the boundaries. But all in all, I feel like I've done a good job, and I'm not ready to stop. I want to continue serving.
Deen, this is kind of a philosophical question, and you can make short answers you want, and I'm knowing your background and everything, but at its root, in your view, what is the basic purpose of the law at any level?
Well, the first set of laws that come out was the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, in the United States. And so when they started with the colonies and they started going to cities and stuff, you had county law, municipal law, and laws were established to make things work right. And when they don't work right or somebody's in violation, then somebody has to be there to say, hey, that's not right, you need to change your ways, and that's another thing I pride myself, is being able to go out on calls and stuff, and talk to people and say, hey, this is what you're going to do. Be lenient with them. There's times when I made traffic stops, and they could have got a ticket, but they understood, and, we were good with that. And so we went on. But, you know, the laws are for us to obey. And,
Yeah, okay.
It's being said our country is in a spiritual identity crisis from the invasion of Islam infiltrating our core belief system and our foundational principles that are based upon God, the Bible, and our Constitution. Our president proclaims he is a Christian leader, but his fruit reveals he isn't seeking the God our country was founded upon. And the consequences we face now is that our nation stands to lose its Christian identity. The spiritual relationships of our elected leaders heavily affect our nation, in which direction our nation is going to turn. How would God and the Bible affect your leadership role as a constable and how you conduct your delegated power to uphold God's righteousness within our community?
I grew up with God in my life. My family grew up with God in their lives. I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior when I was 14 years old. When you're in law enforcement, you got to know that God's on your side. Because I've been in situations where if He hadn't have been there, I know that I probably wouldn't have made it. And so I got a strong spiritual background, and like you said, the way that things are going with the country, I disapprove, I don't like, because it ain't the way it's supposed to be. I mean, and it goes back to the original, the Constitution, that God is supposed to be a part of it, but, it's freedom of religion too, we also got that, and it says that people can believe in what they want to, but I believe that there's only one God, and I know who He is, and I have my relationship with Him.
Thank you.
You may have already answered this, but I'll give it as I've got it written. Why are you running for this position, and what quote or motto would best describe your outlook?
The reason that I want to continue the service, like I said, I've done it for 32 years. I enjoy being with the people. I love San Angelo. I love Tom Green County. This is my home. I feel like that I try to make a difference, and I do things with my community, out on the wall and stuff. I'm a fire chief out there at the fire department. I've been doing that since I was a senior in high school. I've been fire chief for 15 years, and I may add that, we built that to where we're one of the best, highly trained and best equipped departments in West Texas, and we're recognized for that. And I pride myself on that. And I was also involved in the Little League out at Wall. I was vice president on the board and also an assistant coach. And children are our future, and I like to be a part of them and make them a part. Well, one thing that we did out there was we started a junior firefighter program, and we brought kids that were 15 years of age, and from the school, we let them train with us, we let them go out on the fires, we actually let them fight the fires. But I'm proud of that because that molded them into doing better things. I got one that's a flight nurse on a helicopter in San Antonio. I got one who's now captain on the fire department with the air base in San Antonio. I got one that's went to law enforcement in the Texas Forest Service, and I could just go on with how proud I am of that we've done. I just want to continue doing what I do. I love what I do, and I feel like that the people have enjoyed what I've done for them, because I hear it all the time. I'm there when bad things happen. I cry with them, I hug them, we hold hands, we visit, we laugh, we talk, and it's just like being a part of a big family, and I don't want to give it up.
I'd like for you to give us a closing statement, please.
Well, I'll just read this off to you. First of all, I'd like to thank y'all for the opportunity y'all given me today to talk to y'all. I am Dean Dickson, and I am Tom Green County Constable for Precinct 2. I've served in that position for 10 years. I'm a graduate of Wall High School. I'm married to my wife, Denise. As of February, we'll be married 28 years. I have 2 grown children, and I have 2 grandchildren. I served with the police department for 22 years, as I said, working patrol, criminal investigation, and traffic investigation, hit and run investigator. I hold a Master Peace Officer's license, and I have 2,600 hours of training. While as a senior at Wall High School, I joined the Wall Volunteer Fire Department, and I've served them for 33 years, 12 of those being fire chief. I have over 1,500 hours in fire training. I hold a basic, intermediate, and advanced certificate with the State Firemen and Fire Marshals Association. I'm a certified instructor in both fire and police training. Public service is something that I was raised with. I'm third generation law enforcement in the family. My grandfather, brother served as a DPS trooper and was killed in line of duty. I grew up believing in God, family, and serving. I was taught at an early age to treat people with respect. These values I hold dear to my heart. Your Tom Green County Constables are certified peace officers. We serve as bailiffs for JP courts. We serve papers for the JP County and District courts. We deliver juvenile subpoenas as well as AG papers. We carry out writs execution and also public nuisance complaints in the county. We do not make traffic stops unless it's an emergency or if there's some kind of something that's happening where public safety is a factor. I'm proud to be endorsed by the San Angelo Police Officers Political Action Commission, Sheriff Dave Jones, Chief of Police Tim Vasquez, Constables James Smith and Randy Harris, Tom Green County Commissioners Aubrey De Cordova, Rick Bacon, and Bill Ford. I'm also been endorsed by the San Angelo, Texas Realtors Association. And I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with y'all today. One thing I'd add is I am a Republican. I always have been and I always will be. I love to have your support March 1st. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.